Hello and welcome back to the Self-Actualization in the Age of Crisis chapter summary series. I'm your host, Ron Rivers, and today we're reviewing chapter 3, Deep Freedom. So self-actualization in the age of crisis and our spiritual journey towards it serves two primary purposes. The first is to allow collective humanity to transcend the crisis, right? To overcome the variety of extreme externalities that threaten us on a daily basis. The second component is to dramatically reduce the past's influence on the present. Deep freedom represents the alignment between the individual and the system within a given moment. We're working to the vision where the individual and groups possess the capacity, agency, and access to change the nature of the systems governing their relationships, right? Without resistance by the systems themselves. Like everything else in a universe governed by the single truth, deep freedom is a choice. And in many ways, it stands in direct opposition to our present kind of apathy towards shallow freedom and shallow bigness. Now, I want to emphasize there's no single system that's going to provide humanity with a sense of deep freedom. It is the kind of collective project, right? An integrated synthesis of a wide variety of systems, for example, the 8 dignities, that serve to really elevate the individual human condition and in doing so, elevate the collective. What matters most is our spiritual project of embedding new frameworks of meaning and value into the systems we create, kind of breaking them from this monotheistic, hierarchical kind of vision of the universe. Now, with that said, we should start from the beginning that freedom is always in context, right? It always is defined in context of our circumstances within a given moment. So to that end, deep freedom in our vision, in our spiritual project, is in many ways a empowering the individual to really most fully embody self-revision, both in themselves and, of course, in the system surrounding them. Now, I also want to say from the onset, deep freedom is not freedom from struggle or consequence. These two experiences are unavoidable in a relational universe governed by the single truth. And while every individual has the right to define what freedom means to themselves, we cannot accept, tolerate, or even entertain visions of freedom that subjugate one individual or group for the benefit of another. They have no place in a universe, in a relational universe. Freedom is equality of opportunity and dignity, which is why it can only be realized in an inclusive vision of it, a pluralistic kind of collective vision, not the dominion visions so commonly referred to today. Now, if you've been watching these video series in chronological order, you'll notice you've just finished the 8 dignities, which in many ways represents our systemic pathway towards deep freedom for the individual and collective. They provide humanity a framework for expansive individuality that deeply aligns with our core values, while at the same time empowering the collective. And this is an argument I often make to the most staunch individualist. The most direct path towards individual power and freedom is through the elevation of the collective. There's no denying that in our immediate present, given the circumstances we inhabit and the trajectory we're on. Now, the 8 dignities, as I mentioned already, are just the beginning. And over time, humanity's needs and demands will grow. And when that occurs, in that moment, we should expand those 8 dignities. I think for now, they provide a really great foundation to stand upon as we reimagine what being human can be. Ultimately, our journey towards systemic actualization lifts the veil from our eyes. It gives us a vision of freedom, a vision of free being, of free love, a vision of free participation and productivity that is just presently unavailable under our current arrangements, which is why it's so critical and so central to our philosophy of self-actualization in the age of crisis.